Hey guys, what's up? We're super excited to be back with you. This is Kelsey Aida, your favorite inspirational blogger and author, and I'm here with my co-host, Miss Lynnsey Robinson, who is your favorite hypnotherapist. And today we are interviewing a very special guest, but not until the second segment. So until then, you just get to hang out with us. And
Woohoo!
we're gonna talk about whatever we fucking feel like talking about. Also, if you're new to this show, I'm sorry in advance that I say a lot of bad words, but they all have a good intention behind them. I'm just very passionate about life, you know?
True that. And I'm intermittently muting my mic. If you can't hear, I have a huge plane flying over my house, which is why Kelsey was the one to introduce again. Is the worst timing ever.
Yeah, so I'll just entertain you guys while that plane flies over. How's everyone doing? I wish we could interact with you on this show, which we kind of can. You could technically call in, or you can interact with us on our Patreon. We just started that a little while ago. That's been really great. If you want to join that, it's patreon.com/high-vibe. We post all of our episodes there as videos that are full length and have no ads in between, and we give like the behind the scenes of the before and after the show. So usually the shows are like an hour and a half on there because we talk about the subject longer than the hour because we never have enough time on here to like get into the whole thing.
Yeah.
We always run out of
And
time.
if we have a guest, we always interview them, ask them other juicy questions that we don't.
We usually get a lot
of
personal info at the end that doesn't go on air, but like all the Patreons get to see it. So if you want to be a Patreon, if you love our show and you would like to support it and see more of us, then head over to patreon.com/high-vibe. Also, Lynnsey and I have a few announcements for you guys.
You go first, Kelsey. Yours is really, really cool.
Okay, mine's so exciting. I'm so excited. So here's the deal. In February 2020, I am coming together with another awesome human being who just so happens to be named Kelsey as well. And we are hosting a self-love retreat for women in Mexico on the beach in an amazing house. And you're going to get coaching from me and Kelsey to love yourself on a 10 out of 10 level. It's going to be a 5-day immersion and experience where we hang at the pool and go to the beach and get massages and do all this coaching and do all this self-love work. And it's going to be really transformative. So there should be a wait list coming out soon that I can help get you guys on. I'll announce it once it's ready. But in the meantime, just keep it in the back of your mind that in February, if you want to escape the winter and get your self-love on, there will be an opportunity for that.
Are you calling it Kelsey Squared? Because if you're not, you're missing a great opportunity.
We are not, but I do like where you're going. I believe we're going to call it Glow Up.
Cute.
Glow Up, a luxury self-love retreat or something like that.
And it's perfect timing for you because you cannot take cold weather very well. You're like me. I can't do it
It's going to be
either.
really good timing for everyone who lives in shitty winter places like where I live, where the winter like never ends. And by February, you're like, F my life, get me out. So you can get out. Now you have a reason, a really good life-changing reason to get out, go to the beach in Mexico and live your best life. So yeah,
Kelsey and I have
put that on your radar.
Yeah. So guys, look forward to that. I was going to say, you and I have the opposite journey because I grew up in Michigan and then I was like, screw this, I'm going to California. And Kelsey grew up in California and was like, screw this, I'm going to the snow.
Well, I didn't say screw this.
Yes,
I was just bored. So I was like, I'm going to go to the Midwest because I had visited Columbus and I thought it was like the cutest little town.
And when did you visit? What month?
I think it was like June or something. It was the summer.
Yeah, summertime. Yeah. It's very deceiving, those Midwest.
It was. In the summer, I was like, this is the best place ever. It's so green. It's so
perfect.
Lush. And then in the winter, everything is like dead and brown. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, that didn't last long.
That thing called winter. But actually, it's been really cool for me to experience seasons because in Southern California, where I'm from, there's really no such thing as seasons. Like the leaves don't change. The weather really doesn't change. It kind of stays the same all year except for like 2 months in May and June when it's kind of gloomy. So it's been really cool. I like having the change of seasons. It's really excited. Right now we're headed into fall and it's just like the colors are changing and the
Yeah.
air is crisp and it feels like the holidays are approaching, and it's just like a really exciting time. And then like winter going into spring is really cool. Last year when I saw spring for the first time, I had never seen like baby leaves on a tree when they like bud from
Really?
like nothing into something. And I was like, wow, nature is so amazing.
You're so funny.
I was like a little kid because I'd never
It's
seen
amazing.
that.
Yeah, I get like that about stuff too, where you just sometimes it just hits you where it's like, wow, nature is a freaking badass.
Yeah, and it was crazy because I remember in March I went home to California for a little bit, like 2 weeks or so, and I came back and everything was green again. And when I left, everything was dead and there were no leaves. Like within 2 weeks, it seemed like overnight the whole earth like changed, and it went from winter to spring. And I was just like, damn, nature is so cool.
It is so cool.
And it just goes to show how resilient we are, just like the trees.
Everything is nature, even people.
Everything is cyclical.
As much as we try to get away from our natural selves, we are nature. What is it? Like every 7 years, you're a completely different human. Or, you know, you have different everything, different organs, different skin, new cells.
Yeah.
Is it every 7 years or every 7 days?
It's every 7
months.
years. I think. I think you're right. I think it's 7 years that all your cells in your body have replenished themselves. But because our cells have memory and our body stores emotions, they don't always change when they replenish. You can carry the same disease your whole life, even though your whole body changes every same years, because a lot of it's in your mind and in your emotions.
That brings me to a show idea. I don't know if I told you this. No, I was talking to a client. Okay, so I was talking to one of my wonderful clients, and I birthed this idea for a show, like right during our session, because he mentioned something about was it soul memory or DNA? Anyway, and I was talking to him about how we have memories stored in our DNA as well. What is it? Epigenetics or something, right? Which we definitely have to get more into. And we also have, if you believe in reincarnation, on some level, you have soul memories. So we are really just a conglomerate of all the memories, ancestral memories, soul memories, which is like, oh my God, we got to do a show on that. We got to get an expert in to talk to us about that, because that's a pretty juicy topic, interesting topic, and just speaks to everything that I've studied and everything I'm about. And you too, Kels, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm about it.
I'm about it.
I like exploring life and ideas and concepts and things and the ethers and quantum physics and, you know, all that nerdy stuff. Also, like, you guys, important announcement. I wish I had like a little ding, 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 like a,
we should get a bell.
I know, not a bell, like, you know, when you score something at like the arcade and then you get like that winning bell that's like ding, 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 like you won. Or if you win like a slot machine or something, that's the bell that I'm thinking of that we need right now. So yeah. But anyway, everyone imagine that bell in your mind. Because guess fucking what?
Wow, what?
We hit, as High Vibin It, as a collective, we just hit the 100,000 download mark, you guys. That was our first goal. Me and Lynnsey's first goal, like ever. We were like, what's our goal? 100K. And now we did it. So thanks to everyone who's been listening and sharing and subscribing and downloading. This is really exciting, you guys. This show has grown so much faster than we anticipated it ever could or would. And we're just having a blast. So we just wanted to say thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And yeah, we love doing this. So
much thank you. Even more thank yous over on the Patreon page.
Yeah, right? Thanks to all our Patreons we have so far.
Yes.
Thanks to my mom for being a Patreon. Shout out to my mom, #1 supporter of my
Kelsey's
life.
Mom.
Shout out to any of my friends who joined the Patreon. You know, you gotta start somewhere.
You definitely have to start somewhere. And I mean, 100,000 people. Come on. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's amazing. Who said that? Nothing to sneeze at. Is that like an old person thing?
Sounds like I had never heard that before. You just said it.
That's
nothing to sneeze at.
What? You've never heard that? That's nothing to sneeze at? What is it? Shake your fist at? Twitch your nose at? I don't know what it is. I think it's sneeze. It's nothing to sneeze at. Like, that's a big deal. That's not a small thing.
I mean, I understood it when you said it, but I had never heard it before.
That is nothing to sneeze at, youngins. Okay, that's pretty amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. And I think, you know, in the last show, we were like, it's going to be the next show. The next show is going to get us over the hump. We're going to get to 100,000. And we did it. So now we have to come up with a new goal.
Well, my next goal is 1 million.
Yeah.
So
world domination.
My next goal is 1 million by the next year or sooner.
Or sooner. This or something better.
This or something better. This number in a year or sooner, because we don't want to just be like, make it take a year if it only needs to take like 3 months. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. We can do it. We got this.
Yeah, we got this. If you all want to share this show with your friends, with your family, if you have like a specific episode and you think of that one person, you're like, damn, Sally really needs to listen to this, you know, send her the link. Give her the
Sally
link.
Needs to hear it, you know?
Sally needs it. Everyone needs a little inspiration in their life.
Sally needs it.
Didn't you have something you wanted to tell the peeps?
Well, yeah, it's okay. So since the show started, God bless you guys, I've been getting an influx of emails and requests to get on the phone and chat with me about working together and using hypnotherapy to achieve your goals and step into your badass self, and which I love. Unfortunately, it's left not a lot of spaces left in my calendar this year to take on new clients. So if you've been playing around with the idea in your mind or thinking about working with me before 2020, now's the time to do it, because it was blown away by how quickly my spots have filled up this year in such a good way. So I want to see those of you that really want to use hypnotherapy as a tool to get to the next level of your success or the next level of your spiritual evolution or whatever it is. So yeah, go to my website, lynnseyrobinson.com, and take one of those spots before someone else does.
Wait, so how many slots do you have left to work with people one-on-one before this year's up?
Okay. As of right now, I have 5 spots. That is, I know, it's so cool. That's 1 for October, 1 for November, and 3 for December. Is that 5? Right. Yeah, that's 5. But I also have emails I haven't gotten to yet. So
there could be less.
Yeah, there could be less.
There could be less. So you heard the lady. If you're trying to get some hypnotherapy in your life, which I highly recommend, then definitely go to lynnseyrobinson.com and reach out to Lynn's. So
yeah, Kelsey, you've tried it. You did a whole blog post on it.
I loved it. Yeah.
You did the past life with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. A fun one to do. And we did a show about it.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that show yet, go do it, because there's a brief journey that I take you guys on to do a quick past life regression or
Which episode was it? I'll tell them.
I don't even know, man.
I'm going to look it up. I'm looking it up right now in my iTunes. Give me a sec. If you listen to the show on iTunes, you will notice that we started numbering our episodes, which could potentially be very helpful, because before it was kind of confusing.
I just want to put it out there. I said we should do that from the beginning.
I was like, who needs numbers? Okay, yeah. Fun fact, my book, #ActuallyICan, The Art of Affirming Yourself to Greatness. You may notice that there's no page numbers on there because I'm like a design freak. And I was like, page numbers? Those are ugly. I'm not putting those in my book. And so now it's like so confusing to like navigate the book without page numbers, because you just have to like explain what you're talking about to other people. Like, that one part about this one thing and that one affirmation.
Yeah. What episode is the past life? Have you found it yet?
Yep. It's number 4.
Number 4.
July 1st. Past lives, reincarnation, and remembering. Oh my. That's the title.
Yay. Yeah. So go check out that episode if you want a mini journey. We also have one from the last episode that takes you on an intuition, turning up your intuition. So check that one out as well. So we have a guest today. Our guest is David Essel. He is a #1 best-selling author, first of all. He is verified by Psychology Today, motivational speaker. He's a minister. He is huge on the power of the mind and getting you to the next level and how to accomplish goals, or as he says, slay your goals, in his latest book. And when we come back from the first break, we're gonna have him on the line. We're gonna talk to him about positive thinking, or the lack of, I'm not quite sure, because he seems to be in the camp that like why positive thinking isn't enough. He's got a new take on positive thinking and the law of attraction and manifesting, which is kind of our thing. So it should be a very interesting, what's the word? Conversation.
Perspective.
Perspective.
My favorite word of all time. Everyone
Take
take a
a
shot.
It's her
Last
favorite word.
week, was it last week? I think the
Mhm.
last episode, and we were talking about how there's apparently a drinking game for every time I say fuck or perspective. So there you go. You just got to take your
Yep.
shots of kombucha because I don't really drink. So, but yeah, this is going to be interesting. We're going to definitely explore some new perspectives with David here. I kind of have a premonition of the direction that this conversation is going to go in, and I feel like I like it because
Cage match.
I also
Yeah.
agree that positive thinking is not enough.
Absolutely.
When I first came into my most spiritual conscious self and I had my first awakening, dark night of the soul, blah blah blah, yada 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 moment, positive thinking was the shit for me, and like I needed it, and it helped me so much and it served me so much. But there's a certain point where you start to move past that and you start to integrate your shadows, you start to become a more whole person, you start to see the value in other types of thinking that aren't just positive, and you start to realize that there are so many components to your well-being, your health, and living your best life. There's not just ever one answer that's going to give it all to you.
Exactly. Yeah. And of course, positive thinking is, if you're just going about your day thinking positively, that is a very conscious thing, where, as we know, you need to sometimes go to a deeper level and work that stuff out if it's just not happening for you. So all that and more, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with David Essel. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, everyone. So as I mentioned, this is Lynnsey, by the way. Kelsey's with me, and we have our fresh new guest for this week, Mr. David Essel, who is a minister, international speaker, counselor, best-selling author, and the guy to go to when you just need more than positive thoughts, right? Hi, David.
Oh, Lynnsey, great to be back with you. Kelsey, hello.
Hi, I'm so happy to meet you. This is going to be fun.
Same here. Great to be with both of you guys.
So I interviewed, just for those that don't know, I interviewed you back in 2017 when I did an online summit kind of thing, and you were just awesome to talk to. So I was like, I got to call this guy. He's got to come back. Oh, hi, doggy.
Here's my guest.
How cute. Is that a greyhound?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Sorry for the audio people and the audio listeners. He just showed us his adorable dog. You'll be able to see it if you're on our Patreon page. But David, so last time we talked about why positive thinking is not enough. And since then, you have written how many books since 2017? Let's just ask you that question.
Well, I think it's 4, Lynnsey.
4 books?
Yeah. We had 2 come out this year, 1 last year, 1 the year before, so 4.
That's 4 more books than I've ever written in my life.
Awesome.
Hey, but I will tell you guys something, because this goes hand in hand with what you guys understand and believe in, is that I wrote books for 20 years with no recognition hardly at all.
Mm-hmm.
The last 4 books have all gone #1 bestseller, but for 20 years I kept writing. I had belief. It wasn't coming true, guys. No matter how much faith and belief I had, it didn't matter. And I had to just keep doing the work. And then finally, the breakthrough came around 2016. And then the last 4 books have all gone #1. So for all of our people with us today, if you have a huge goal and it's not happening right away, I hope it doesn't take you 20 years.
Right. Yes, exactly.
But that goes back to, sorry, but I have to interject this lesson here, because this goes back to something that I've been playing around with the idea of a lot, which is, do you want it now or do you want it better?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the universe, your life, your soul, whatever, decided that it would be better for it to happen this way, because maybe now you're reaching more people, or your books are better than they were before, or whatever it is. And do you find that these new books that you've written, do they bring people back to your old books too? Because once they read this, they want to read more that you've written?
Yeah, Kelsey, as a matter of fact, that's one of the greatest things that happens for all authors. And that's why I encourage people, don't stop writing. If it hasn't hit yet, don't stop, because then you have the trickle down effect. And all of a sudden we're getting emails from people talking about my first book, and I'm going, oh my Lord, I didn't even know they had picked it up. But so that happens all the time. And I think that persistence is one of those keys that we don't talk about enough. Lynnsey, you and I have talked before, my feelings on the law of attraction and The Secret and all that. I think it's pretty much nonsense. I think that there's some validity to the law of attraction, but in other words, when you read books and they say, imagine a red Maserati in your driveway, in years, I've never met anyone, never interviewed anyone that imagined a red Maserati and it must come to you, that kind of stuff. But in interviewing 27 years, I hosted my own syndicated radio show with Deepak and Wayne and Susie Orman and all these great superstars. They all had massive struggles in life.
Yeah.
And they didn't attract their greatness via their thoughts. I can tell you that. Even Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks from the Law of Attraction people. I mean, they go out and work their butts off. Esther's is probably, at least years ago, she was on the road 30 weeks a year, for God's sake, So when I hear those things, I say, nah, let's go to persistence more than imagining something in your driveway and having it appear, or imagining your soulmate bring you pizza tomorrow night, or whatever other stuff we put on our vision boards, And the funny thing is that I love positive thinking. Oh my God, the first hour of every day, I'm immersed in gratitude, journaling, prayer, meditation. I see myself in the future of where I want to be, but then I let it all go and just go do the work.
Yeah, so that's the part that so many people are missing, because it's like, they think that the law of attraction is going to solve their whole life and that they won't have to be a part of it anymore. And it's like the inspired action is where the magic happens. Of course, your intention is going to pan out in your life one way or another, but you're involved. Like, you're going to get the ideas that you have to take action on in order to help create that manifestation. And a lot of people get a little bit caught up in the whole ego fantasy of, oh, I just have to think it for 16 seconds or more and it's going to happen, which is like, okay, but what about all the traumas from your past that are still in your emotional field? What about all the actions that you're not doing to start that business that is the one that's going to make you the $1 million? What about all that stuff that you're not doing? And so I really do like this perspective, because I think that the idea of the law of attraction has become so sexy that people just take one aspect of it and they don't understand how it really actually works. And they get caught up in the fantasy, and then they're like, well, why isn't it working for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lynnsey, go ahead.
Well, I was going to interject when you were talking about, your provocative maybe statements that you've put out about law of attraction and these deep-seated belief systems that some people have. And when we first chatted in 2017, I was a little worried about you, David, I have to be honest, because I was doing this whole mindful mama's money mindset masterclass. And I was like, it's all light and it's all lighthearted and beautiful and manifesting. And then I was like, ooh, this guy, I don't know about this guy. But I was so glad to have you on. And which is why I continue to want to talk to you, because you like taking the ideas and flipping them on their head and being like, no, let's really examine what this is. And at the seat of it, our beliefs aren't really that different. Where we stand in terms of why things work the way they do are not that different. And so I like that you're provocative. I like that you get people thinking and get people really questioning, why do I believe this? Or what can I do, instead of just, like Kelsey said, just taking this magic pill and hoping that everything goes away.
Well, guys, the other day on Facebook, I put a post, and it's actually out of my book, one of my best-selling books, Focus, Slay Your Goals. And we took Buddha's quote and we turned it upside down. Of course, Buddha said, you become what you think about all day long. And I don't believe that at all. Our quote that we put in the book right next to Buddha, and I love Buddha. So anyone who loves Buddha, trust me, I love him.
Props to Buddha, okay.
But it's not true. We become what we do all day long.
Yes.
We don't become what we think all day long. If it was that freaking easy, and let me make this comment. If it was that easy to attract whatever we wanted in our life via our thoughts only, you guys would not have this show. There would be no need for it. There'd be no need for another freaking book in the world. There'd be no need for anything. If all you had to do is think all day long about some damn thing and it's going to come to you, we would be out of work. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. No one would need us. Okay. So there's one thing, but I posted it, and a law of attraction teacher, tried to argue or whatever she was trying to do. And so I said to her, I go, I just responded back, you know, I don't get attack oriented. As a matter of fact, with most people that disagree with what my philosophies are, I'm totally fine with it. I don't even reply. But with this woman, the way she was being so aggressive, I said, I'm going to reply back. So my reply was this: please introduce me to a bodybuilder who thought their way onto the stage. Please introduce me to a physician who thought their way into brain surgery. Please introduce me to any entrepreneur in the world that's making $1 million a year, which is $82,000 a month, who did it via their thoughts. Yeah. And I would love to talk to them all. That's the way I put it back.
And of course, that defense from her would be, well, of course they have to take action too. But that's what you're saying. Like, that is exactly what you're saying. Yes, have the believe in yourself, but what are you going to do about it? You know?
Well, and Lynnsey, what you said is dead on, honey. That's what she said to me.
I knew it.
You know, and it was just so hilarious. And I'm sitting there thinking, but, you know, in 1996, we created a definition for human nature. And what we described as human nature is our desire to get the most out of life with minimal effort. That's why The Secret and the Law of Attraction are so popular, because they're promising lies, fallacies, that you can get the most out of life without doing anything. I mean, as long as you have a vision board, as long as you have your affirmations in the morning, the universe must respond to your call, you know? And so we say, I swear to God, I wish it was true. And the other thing, and Lynnsey, you remember this, I taught this from 1980 till 1996. I was traveling the world 40 weeks a year as a speaker. And I was saying to people, whatever you believe you can achieve, and your thoughts will become magical if they're powerful enough. You know, this is way before The Secret. But the law of attraction was out in the 1800s, for God's sake. So it's not like it's some brand new thing, but they've repackaged it.
Yeah.
They've repackaged it in a way that goes right into human nature, our desire to get the most out of life with minimal effort. It's the reason that Suzanne Summers still sells the Thigh Master. You know?
She does?
Oh God, it's still on infomercial.
No way. Wow. Go her. Good for her.
I know. I mean, the millions and millions of dollars she made, and I agree with you. I said, good for you. Good for you. You know, that you're that smart. But it's all about human nature. People want to get the most out of life on their couch, watching TV, putting their thighs together, you know?
Yeah.
And anyone that knows anything about body change knows that probably isn't going to do very much, gang. You know, but that's how these teachers and these books suck the vortex. They become a vortex and they suck us in because it's what we want. We want Bali. We want to live there without working. We want to have 7 homes around the country without doing much. You know, my mentor, one of my big mentors, Joe Cerulli, who became my mentor in 1986, he was homeless. And he's a multi-trillionaire. And he does it today in an industry that people say you could never make money. You only do it because you really love it. And that's the health club industry. Now, here's a guy that believes in positive thinking, and he's a huge positive thinker. But, you know, he puts in 12 to 14-hour days in order to make millions a year. You know, he's way past making $1 million a year. But the people that I know very well, the Ray Higdons of the world that I've interviewed and wrote his story in my book, you know, another guy that was getting kicked out of his house, a single guy, 2 little kids. He actually in 2007 or 2008, when we had the economic crash, Ray contacted me and he said, hey, I'm really hurting. I'm losing my house. I'm a single dad, 2 kids. Would you give me a session? You know, I don't have any money. And then he said the next line, which I loved. He said, is there any way we could meet at a restaurant for lunch? And I said, now here's a guy I love. You know, he wants a session. He doesn't have money and he wants me to buy him lunch. Hell yeah. I said, yes. So we met. We had a great lunch. I could see the anxiety, 2 little kids. He knows he's losing his home. And so all I said to him was one thing, guys. I said, Ray, if you find something, he has such a good personality. This guy's got a great personality. I said, he would be great for your show. I said to him, you know, like if you find something to sell and you put your nose to the ground and you just don't stop, Ray, you can get yourself out of the situation. Well, on the way home, he stopped at the store and bought The Secret. Now, this is when The Secret was hot. And unfortunately, it still is, I think. But he went home and read it, and he goes, oh, you know what? And he built a vision board, and for 30 days, he said his affirmations, and 30 days later, as he states in my book, he was in worst shape ever. So then he found a product to sell. And he was getting excited about it, but it wasn't selling that much. And so he reached out to another expert. And that expert told him this: don't mess around with selling a thing unless you're willing to get 20 rejections a day.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. And he said, if you go after 20 rejections a day, if you don't stop asking people for business, asking people for the sale, he said, eventually you're going to turn it around. A year and a half later of going after 20 rejections a day, he was at $50,000 a month. And today he earns over $1 million a month.
Yeah.
Now
that's perfect.
It's great, guys. And I want to tell you something. Now let me make something really clear. When you match your passion with intense effort, at some time, baby, it's gonna work.
It has to, yeah.
To make sure that what you're trying to accomplish is for you, and something you love doing, not just for the money.
Yeah.
But when you do the two things, you combine your passion with a desire to make, whatever amount of money you want to make, and you put your nose to the grindstone, guys. I think that's the secret formula to success that all these other people have been following for years.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing about you, David. Everything when I read your bio and you're like, law of attraction, whatever. But then you speak, and it's exactly what we believe. It's very much in line with what we teach and what we do. So what would you say? I know you get people probably emails that say like, well, David, I do affirmations every day, and I just had intense thought, and I meditate on this, and I visualize it, and it did come true. So would you say what I would say if I were you, and tell me if I'm a little on base or off, is, well, yeah, you took action. That was the action. Is that part of the action?
Yeah. And you know what, Lynnsey, if they accomplished something really great, and it was via affirmations and a vision board, but they didn't put a lot of effort in, and because that's what the law of attraction says. As a matter of fact, let me quote a law of attraction teacher. If what you're doing is difficult or uncomfortable on your pathway to success, you're on the wrong pathway. Mm-hmm. Now, that's an insane statement. That's absolutely insane. Most of us on a pathway of success are going to hit hurdles, roadblocks, bankruptcy, divorce, affairs, addiction. I mean, it's just part of life. But this is what I say to people. If you really did accomplish something massive via your thoughts or via affirmations or via a vision board, that is what's called a miracle. Mm-hmm. And good for you. And I love miracles. I've had miracles happen in my life that are mind-blowing. Yeah. They don't happen as I would like them about every 30 to 45 minutes. I haven't found that formula yet.
I know, right? Jeez.
But it can happen. So Kelsey and Lynnsey, what I would say to someone who says, well, it worked for me, and if they didn't put a lot of action in, I am really happy for you. And that's called a miracle celebrated.
So I guess where you're coming from is not necessarily like, don't do affirmations or don't believe in law of attraction or don't, believe in The Secret, but don't let that be your only thing. Let's say they were doing affirmations because it felt good, or they were meditating because it feels good, or doing what was I going to say? Vision board because it feels good and it excites them and it attaches those excited feelings to the goal. Yes. All good. What David is saying is, also, what can you do today to get yourself closer to that goal? Like actually taking action, which I am 100% on board with. And I know Kelsey is too, because this is exactly what we talk about.
I'm actually working on a book about this, which is hilarious because you might laugh at the title, but when you read it, you're going to understand why it actually is in perfect alignment with everything that you're teaching. So I'm working on this book called Why the Law of Attraction Works for Some People, But Not You. And every chapter is essentially, okay, there's a lot of missing pieces that nobody talks about. Mm-hmm. It's not all about manifesting. It's about how are you living your life? What are you doing in your life? Where are you carrying resistance? What are you doing to heal? What uncomfortable things are you going through to get to your best self? Like, it's not all frilly frou-frou and butterflies and it all just happens magically. And like, sometimes it does, like how you said, like miracles happen. That's amazing. But there's so much more to it that we're just now scratching the surface of, because I think as a collective, we're becoming more integrated. So we're seeing this perspective and this perspective. And it's not just all positive. It's not just all negative. It's seeing everything as valid, and how can we incorporate this all to be more whole and have more success in a more fulfilling way, as opposed to just faking it till we making it via affirmations that are silly, or things like just waiting for your Maserati to show up in the garage.
Yeah, where is it? Where is it? You know, and that idea of what the teachers that you used in your example, when was it a he or a she? Was it a she that said, if it's uncomfortable, don't do it? Okay.
Yeah.
When the whole premise of any kind of growth or evolution is, there's a reason it's called, you know, growing pains. When you see a shift that's about to happen, it's going to be uncomfortable. Imagine giving up at that point. Imagine just being like, well, this isn't working, I'm going to go do something else, because it's not supposed to be uncomfortable. Of course it's supposed to be uncomfortable. Of course it is. Building muscles, let's give that example. You get stretch marks because you're building muscles and you're changing your body, and it does hurt. You're tearing the muscle tissue to make it bigger. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. But if you, like you said, have that passion, and if you really believe in it, you have to see it through, because imagine what you could achieve on the other side.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect.
Love it.
I mean, it's perfect. You know, my buddy Keith Mitchell is a former NFL All-Pro linebacker from New Orleans Saints. He was actually paralyzed on the field, and they said he would never walk again. He's one of the leading yoga instructors, and I'm going to say gurus in the United States. He's amazing. If you guys haven't, you know, another great guest, I swear to God, another great guest.
You're going to bring us all the good ones.
I am. These guys are incredible. And Keith, you know, we would joke when I interviewed him on my radio show, and we would laugh about the, you know, did you get to be an all-pro linebacker via your thoughts, via your vision board?
Yeah.
You know, and what these people have to go through, even, you know, musicians, artists, I mean, everyone goes through struggle and challenge. And, you know, here's a guy that had this outrageously physical career. He's an all-pro linebacker. You can't get any higher accolades in the NFL than that. And then he's paralyzed during a game. He's hit during a game and said he'd never walk again. And then a series of events happened, but he made a decision that he was going to work his butt off and do whatever it took.
And you see it all the time when people say, well, you're never going to walk, you're not going to beat this, you know, disease or whatever it is. And people do it all the time. So,
you know, Lynnsey and Kelsey, I work in addiction recovery as well. We just helped, as a matter of fact, he just celebrated a year of working with me, a 30-year opiate alcoholic addict who got up in the morning at 8 a.m. and shot up heroin before going to work. This is, you know, the seriousness of it. And he just celebrated 365 days sober with our program. And he had to work his butt off. You know, in our books, what we say is this: 20% of your day should be spent on affirmation. If you want to do vision boards, awesome. Affirmations, vision boards, whatever the heck you want to do, 20% of your day. 80% should be put into doing things that you'd really rather not do towards that massive goal.
Yes.
Formula, especially if you take that 20% in the morning. My puppy's getting all excited. He's coming over. You might see his face here. But if you take that formula and 20% of it, you do it, let's say in the morning, the first hour of the morning, you know, you really get into feeling the success and feeling the love and feeling the service that you're giving to earn the money that you want. Then just go do the work. You don't have to be constantly reaffirming during the day. You don't have to bring up your affirmation CDs and have the subliminal. If you want to, you can. I mean, I'm not saying don't, if those things but what I encourage people to do is pick that time that you're going to really commit to the mind, you know, that you're going to go head first into it, then back up and go, now, what are those tasks today I'd rather not do to create the business, the body, the love I want? Let's hit it hard.
And I'm just going to add one thing to that. If you do it once a day, either pick the 30 minutes after you wake up or the 30 minutes before bed, because that's when your subconscious is the most receptive to any type of mind work you're going to do, which, as we know, the subconscious is where the mind really kind of creates that long-lasting change and new neural pathways to get you what you want. I'm speaking fast because we have to take a break, but we will be right back with David, and we're going to talk about his newest book, I guess, and dive into what that's all about. So we will be right back. And welcome back, guys. We are here once again with David Essel, who is talking to us about why positive thinking is just not enough and what you should be doing also. I want to talk to you a little bit about is it your newest book?
Well, it came out last year, but it's probably the one right now. It's still flying. I mean, it's going
it's number
nuts.
1, right?
Yeah.
So it's called Focus, Slay Your Goals, The Proven Guide to Huge Success, A Powerful Attitude, and Profound Love. And I love that the law of attraction just straight up crossed out.
That's right.
Like, forget this.
Brutal.
It is a little brutal, yes. So let's talk. Which is what, like I said, very
That's
provocative. Funny. You love getting people like riled up to hear.
I like the drama. I like your style.
Yes, exactly. So let's talk about this book and kind of what it's all about.
Yeah, you know what in this book, what we do is, and as a matter of fact, the greatest literary award besides getting number 1 selling books that we've ever received has been for Focus. As a matter of fact, about a month ago, bookauthority.org, which is one of the biggest book screening organizations in the world, said that Focus was one of the top 100 goal-setting books ever written in the world.
Wow.
So,
congratulations.
Oh, like there's nothing, I never knew we would get an award like that, quite frankly. And I was blown away and so
Don't
honored.
lie. You have a vision board somewhere in that house with that on it.
Don't lie.
You are so cute.
You're like, yeah, no, not me. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and the reason why they grabbed it is that our goal setting procedure, just like everything else I do pretty much, is a little different. So, the average person comes to, as a counselor and a life coach, and you guys know this work, someone will come to us and, well, what's your goal? I want to earn $1 million a year. Oh, that's great. That's $82,000 a month. Do you have the gifts, the talent, determination, work ethic, etc.? But then what we say is, why haven't you gotten it yet?
That's my favorite question to ask people.
Valid question, and very important part of the puzzle.
It's huge. And so in the book, we talk about that. There's something we created in 1996, again, a goal-setting procedure called the One Thing Theory. And this is why bookauthority.org went nuts on our book. The One Thing Theory for goal setting states this: at any given time in life, there's only one goal to go after. It's the one you've denied, delayed, procrastinated on. It's the one you'd rather not do. But once you go after it 5 to 6 days a week, an hour or more a day, and you break through whatever you've denied, delayed, procrastinated that you don't want to do, every other area of your life lifts. It's like when I decided to get sober. It was 25 years of dicking around with my addictions. And then when I decided to get sober, it was my one thing. It was a thing I denied, delayed, procrastinated working on. And once I did, it was incredible how my life changed. Or there might be someone else that's saying, I'll never forgive that person that cheated on me, or I'll never forgive my parents for this. And you guys know what a lack of forgiveness or resentments and anger held within does to the body, mind, body, spirit, So their one thing before they go after the $1 million or the perfect body or whatever it is might be to clean up something that is blocking them from achieving what they desire. So we go heavily into it. I was working with a guy a couple of years ago, and we tell this story in the book, who came to me because he wanted to learn how to franchise his business. So we were talking about how to expand the business and get it going. And one day he came in, and I could tell that he was really exhausted, extremely tired. And then as we did our session together, he admitted that he was hungover. And I asked him what was going on. And he said, well, every Sunday I talk to my mom. And, I get in arguments with her. And then I just slam down the phone and I get drunk and I get up the next morning, and this is my pattern. So I said, do you think this pattern might interfere with your desire to franchise and to make the money you want to make? So his thing wasn't building his business. It was getting sober. And so what we want people to understand is that, and then when we say, well, I'm not going to tell you not to go after earning $1 million a year. But before we do that, let's clean up these resentments. Let's clean up this low self-confidence. Let's clean up this inability to speak in public. You know what I'm saying, guys?
Absolutely.
Yes, you have to solve the pain points before you can get into the thriving mode. You have to graduate from survival to like the medium place, and then you can start thriving. You can't go from survival, I'm not getting my needs met, I'm not healthy, I have addictions, I have all these codependent patterns, to, oh, I'm doing all my dreams perfectly. I'm golden. Like, you have to work through the steps to get better, to heal those problems, to fix those pain points, and then you can start thriving because you'll be in a better space.
I love that you say, what's the one thing that's holding you back, or why haven't you gotten it yet? That is
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. That is a question I have on my application for my one-on-one programs. Why do you think you haven't gotten it yet? And usually I'd say 90% of the time it's lack of belief in myself, lack of self-worth, confidence issues, or this thing that happened to me a long time ago that was very traumatic. And so the reason I asked that question is because we need to know where we're starting from. We need to know the starting point, that whatever answer that you put in that line is what we need to work on first.
That's right.
So I love that you brought that up because it is absolutely crucial.
And it doesn't sound really sexy, you know, it's like, oh my God. Right. Like, and that's the battle that individuals that do the work that I do that aren't into the mass consciousness insanity of like The Secret and Law of Attraction, is that we're just working on reality. You know, that's, I mean, as a matter of fact, the book that broke all of this open that Lynnsey knows very well, it's called Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, but This Book Will. That was the book in 2017 that Jenny McCarthy, who's become just a great friend. I've been back on her show 5 or 6 times since then. And she's the one that, and Lynnsey, I don't know if I told this story on your show, but you know, she wasn't going to have me on her show because the name of the book, Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, but This Book Will, because she loves positive thinking, right? So finally, TJ Torriello, my publicist, said, no, this guy is really going to blow your mind. So I came on her show and she goes, okay, gang, this guy is with me right now. I got to tell you, I'm not quite sure about it. So what I'm going to do, David
I know,
Essel,
Jenny. I know. I'm with you, Jenny.
I know you are, Lynnsey. So she said, I'll tell you what. He's here. David, I want to give you 3 minutes. Sell me.
Yeah.
I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to say a thing. 3 minutes later, let's chat. So at the end of 3 minutes, she gave me the sign. I stopped and she just was shaking her head like this. And I didn't know what direction she was going to go in. Right?
Yeah, it could go either way.
I know. And then all of a sudden she goes, okay, gang, wait a minute. To all my millions of listeners, I have to apologize. What I've been talking about, the law of attraction and The Secret, is not true. David Essel is the new leader of the positive thinking movement. And with that endorsement and being on her show, guys, you know, you never know what's going to break a book. The book itself should have sold millions of copies on its own. Jenny McCarthy allowed that book to have a voice and to have some recognition. And then once people read it, they're blown away. You know, but because we say the same thing in that book, 20% is your mind, 80% is what you choose to do or not do.
Yeah, I love that. Well, on that note, David, we have no more time, but it's been so nice having you. And I really want, before we close, I want people to know where they can find you and your book and the new announcement you have about Alexa. We love Alexa.
Oh my gosh, yes. So, Kelsey, Lynnsey, first, before we go, I love being with you guys. You're
awesome.
You've got such pure energy. Your smiles are killer. My God, you got killer smiles.
And Colgate, sponsor us. What's up?
Oh, that's funny.
I love it. And if for people listening, you can't see them, go to their website and look at their smiles. That's what
Stop talking about us and talk about your book.
If you go to talkdavid.com, TALK David.com, talkdavid.com, you can see all the books and everything, but we have a free program called David Essel's Motivational Minute. 5 days a week. It's a subscription that you pay $0 for. So it's a 5-day-a-week free subscription. Every morning you're going to get a minute or a minute and a half inspirational video in your email box really early in the morning, like 4 Eastern time, okay?
And you can also get it on Alexa now, right? You can ask Alexa.
All the minutes are on Alexa, so you can either get them emailed from us directly to your email box, or on our talkdavid.com page, there's a description on how to sign up via Alexa. And I have to tell you guys a cute story. The other day I was in a radio show with a woman in Tennessee, and she said, you're a big fan of morning routines. I said, yeah. She goes, well, before we get into the interview, do you mind if I share with you my morning routine? I said, no, let me hear it. She goes, so I get up and I make coffee, and I ask Alexa, what's the traffic in Tennessee like? And then I tell her that I want to hear my news of the day. And she said the news of the day, every day, 7 days a week, is David Essel's Motivational Minute.
I love it.
She was listening and signed up. And she had been listening for about 8 months now.
Wow.
So that was really
so cool. That's awesome. So guys, go to talkdavid.com. Check out his, I know I saw your book on Amazon. So go check it out on Amazon or his website. Get the Motivational Minute on Alexa. You're not going to be sorry. He really is just a ray of sunshine, even though he tries to pretend that he's all controversial. You're actually a delight to talk to.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I love it. Lynnsey, Kelsey, you guys are fun.
Like always, we're running out of time. So we're actually going to continue this conversation over on Patreon. So if you want to hear a little bit more about what we're going to talk about, head over to patreon.com/highvibe, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for being here.